Stories of the Pros, June 2024.
Margot Robbie is an actor that really gets into her roles. For her breakout in Wolf of Wall Street, this was evident. Not only did she slap DiCaprio during auditions because it's what she felt the character would do, she also did end up going fully nude for several of the scenes to stay in character. Margot said, "The whole point of Naomi is that her body is her only form of currency in this world. So of course she would use it." Her brother didn't speak to her for months after he saw the film. Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle are both legends in their own right, but who won in a wrestling match? Lesnar was king in his NCAA days, but as Kurt said, NCAA champion is great, but there is a big difference between that and his Olympic gold. However, Lesnar had an extra 70 or so pounds on his side. Despite the size, Kurt's patience and experience won him the day, getting a single pin on Lesnar. Both great sports about it. Wayne Gretzky is the great one, but he had this weird eating habit before games. So as with everyone, he would eat around 12 or 12:30, but by 5 o'clock he always found himself being hungry again. So this man would find whatever the arena had, like pizza in Chicago, or hot dogs in Montreal, and he would scarf them down. Nowadays, I don't think there are too many pros who are going around having hot dogs and a Diet Coke right before a game. If you're well known, some people don't want you to spend your money. No different for John Daly. He was in the dungeon in downtown Augusta, having a good time with some good people, and as expected of John, a ton of booze, enjoying the time with some dancers. Now he didn't want to get too deep into it so the PGA wouldn't get mad at him, but at the end of the night he had a tab of $27,000. Well, some drunk guy behind him recognized him and wanted to treat him. After John protested a bit, he showed him the tab and let John know he's got him. Stone Cold Steve Austin is a machine, a tough guy, but apparently he gets the giggles when he partakes in marijuana. In general, the few times he partook, he wasn't a big fan compared to some other things. One time he and a friend had a little bit and ended up in a Burger King drive-thru when they started to get the giggles. They sat there at the speaker ordering for like 8 minutes, laughing their butts off, and they never even got the burgers, they just took off. Jamie Foxx today is a great actor and comedian, but he had to be a little sneaky to make his way up. Jamie was actually born and given the name Eric Bishop, not a bad name in itself, but Fox found that whenever he went to an open mic it was more common for female comedians to be called up. So he dropped Eric in favor of Jamie to get called up more often, and added Fox as a nod to his favorite comedian, Red Fox. Of course, the rest after that is history. Not too long ago, Wayne Gretzky and Hulk Hogan had a bit of a run-in with each other. It wasn't anything bad, no fights, but it turns out at the time they were both living in the same area, driving the same exact color and model of car, and shopping at the same large mall using the same valet parking. Well, they were doing the Christmas shopping at this mall. They both end up at home and Wayne gets a call from Hulk. Apparently the valet swapped up their cars, so they had to meet up and get it sorted out. Tiger Woods gave John Daly one of the greatest compliments. John and some friends were sitting around a table having a bunch of drinks, going through some Crown when Tiger walked by and John asked him to join. Tiger says no, he's gonna go hit some balls, get some practice in. Later on again, Tiger walks by and John asks him to join. Again he says no, has his gym shorts on, he is going to go work out. Hours later he comes by. John is wasted at this point and he asks Tiger to join again. Tiger says, "John, if I had your talent I would be doing the same thing you're doing." Samuel L. Jackson is great, but he had a rough time as a kid. Well known for his more colorful language, I was surprised to learn that Jackson actually struggled a lot with a stutter while growing up. Jackson said, "Growing up a stuttering black kid in Tennessee in the 50s didn't quite make me think I was going to end up in a place like this. It was his aunt who initially tried to help him get it under control, and it still comes out sometimes, but what ultimately helped him get it under control is his most iconic word, mother. He doesn't know why, but he said it just clicks a switch that stops the stuttering. We are all better for it. Samuel L. Jackson and mother go together like bacon and eggs.
Trump's favorite movie is the 1941 Citizen Kane, which tells the story of a larger-than-life newspaper baron. I think you learn in Citizen Kane that maybe wealth isn't everything, because he had the wealth, but he didn't have the happiness, Trump said in a 2002 interview. Ironically, the main story of Citizen Kane is about the life of a fictional wealthy newspaper magnate, Charles Foster Kane. This might be the only time Trump has liked fake news. These days, Tom Hardy's known as a brilliant actor with notable roles in films like The Revenant, Mad Max, Fury Road, and Inception. However, 90s Tom Hardy had a different career path in mind. He recorded an album titled Falling on Your Arse in 1999 under the name Tommy No One, and it's actually not too shabby. Some people had to watch Inception multiple times to understand it, but many are still trying to wrap their heads around hip-hop Hardy. The seeds of fame seemingly found their place in Post Malone's story during his high school years. As a senior, he was named most likely to become famous by his peers, a foreshadowing of the path that lay ahead. Surprisingly, his popularity coincided with his entry into the field of music, which he began at the age of 16. Little did we know, Post Malone's classmates' assessment of his potential was clearly correct, as he rose to prominence. During an interview with Square Mile, Jason Momoa was asked about his humble beginnings as a model. "No, actually, I made that shit up," he responded. He also admits that he met managers who made up some stuff for me like Hawaii Model of the Year. I guess fake it till you make it, right? Now, when my girlfriend needs to see the next Jason Momoa movie, I will just respond with, "He wasn't even a real model." The story of Eileen Edwards is yet another inspiring tale. We know her better as Shania Twain, a renowned singer. Her life story is one of pain and suffering. Her parents divorced when she was young. With not much money, she could not hope to pursue a singing career. She even had to stay in a foster home. Fate dealt a cruel blow when her parents died in an accident. In her early 20s, she had the responsibility of taking care of her younger siblings. She wrote songs when she could and continued her goal to achieve her dream. Finally, she ended up in Nashville and got her first break. She was now on the way, which is the meaning of her first name, Shania. LeBron was gifted a Hummer H2 by his mother on his 18th birthday. The Hummer had a lot of amazing things in it, like 3 television sets and a gaming system. This gift was strange because they were not that rich during that time. So there arose a controversy that the Hummer was given to LeBron's mother by NBA agents for his signature. However, it was not illegal, as he was not studying in college. Had he been in college, it would have been illegal and would have landed in trouble. Now, LeBron James has a car collection fit for a king. King James has an insane fleet of cars in his garage worth over $2 million. LeBron's garage is equipped with 15 supercars, including 3 Ferraris, a custom-made Lamborghini, and 3 Porsches. In 2008, Robert Downey Jr. credited an unlikely source for helping him sober up. In an interview with Empire magazine, he described driving around with a car full of illicit substances one night in 2003. He stopped at Burger King and ordered a burger and large soda. Apparently, the burger was so bad that it made him reevaluate his life, and he chucked his stash in the ocean. In 2024, Downey launched a coffee company named Happy with Craig Dubitsky. A life once consumed by drugs traded in for coffee, all because a king couldn't make a good burger. Jordan Belfort and his team would artificially inflate the price of stocks, then sell their shares, leading to a drastic price drop and significant losses for investors. Belfort was indicted for securities fraud and money laundering in 1998. His reckless lifestyle and fraudulent practices had finally caught up with him. Belfort was sentenced to 4 years in prison, but served only 22 months, following a plea agreement for cooperating with the FBI. During his time in prison, Belfort shared a cell with Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong, who encouraged him to write about his experiences. He's the youngest Mr. Universe in history. Before he was traveling through time as a relentless cyborg, battling villainous sorcerers and aliens, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a champion bodybuilder. We know, it's hard to believe. He won the annual Mr. Universe competition at age 20, becoming the youngest person ever to do so. He didn't rest on his considerably muscular laurels after that record-breaking win either. Schwarzenegger continued to compete and went on to win the Mr. Universe title a staggering 4 more times before retiring from bodybuilding at age 33 in 1980. After his first win, I think his exact words were, "I'll be back." Dwayne Johnson takes his health and fitness very seriously, and that's not something that he slows down even during a busy movie shoot. A lot of the time, Johnson has to go shoot on location, meaning he is living in a different area from his home for long periods. Rather than relying upon local gyms, likely due to how many people would come up to him, Johnson ships his Iron Paradise gym everywhere he goes. That gets set up in an area close to the film, allowing him to continue working out regularly. Some would even say that The Rock has some heavy baggage he can't let go of. By now, every hockey fan associates the number 87 with Crosby. Though the number is available for any player not on the Penguins in the league, no one wears it right now, and likely never will again, regardless of whether or not it gets retired around the league when his career is said and done. While everyone associates it with him, however, not everyone knows why it is he selected the number. The reason behind Crosby's number has to do with his birthday, as he was born on August 7, 1987. With August being the 8th month of the year, his birthday is written out as 8787. This explains why he wears a number that is extremely uncommon in hockey. Don Cherry is a legendary figure in the world of sports and entertainment. His unique style, controversial opinions, and dedication to his craft have made him an unforgettable personality. From his iconic wardrobe to his passionate commentary, Cherry has captivated audiences for decades. In 2019, Don Cherry was awarded the Order of Canada, one of the country's highest honors, for his contributions to sports broadcasting and his dedication to charitable work. The recognition further exemplifies the impact he has had on Canadian society. Cherry was also honored with a star on Canada's Walk of Fame, but I don't think that is something you people would truly appreciate. Joe Rogan is a multi-talented individual, excelling in comedy, martial arts, podcasting, and more, inspiring millions with his thought-provoking conversations and advocacy for personal freedom. Before becoming a popular podcast host and UFC commentator, Joe Rogan honed his comedic skills on stage, performing in clubs across the country. As controversial as he is, you can't ignore the fact that even if you are bald, you can still be successful. This one is wild. Hugh Jackman majored in communications at the University of Technology in Sydney, wanting to become a journalist. During his senior year, however, the actor found himself a few credits short, so he decided to take a drama class. And the rest was history. Ex-journalist now turned X-Man, it looks like he is following in the steps of Caitlyn Jenner. The hot-headed Colonel Sanders never backed down from a fight, which served him well in the rough-and-tumble Hell's Half-Acre neighborhood that surrounded his Shell Oil gas station. When the future fast food giant painted advertising signs on barns for miles around, the aggressive marketing tactic rankled Matt Stewart, who operated a nearby Standard Oil gas station. Told that Stewart was painting over one of his signs for a second time, Sanders rushed to the scene with 2 Shell executives. According to Josh Ozerski's book, Colonel Sanders and the American Dream, Stewart exchanged his paintbrush for a gun and fatally shot Shell District Manager Robert Gibson. Sanders returned fire and wounded Stewart in the shoulder. Stewart was sentenced to 18 years in prison for murder, but charges against Sanders were dropped after his arrest. In February of 2014, Leo was interviewed saying he has never done drugs, despite what his performance in The Wolf of Wall Street might suggest. No, he just might be a really good actor. Although he has admitted that he's been around drugs since around the age of 3 or 4, his Hollywood experience never included drugs. For his role in The Wolf of Wall Street, he consulted with an on-set drug expert. Co-star Jonah Hill and DiCaprio watched YouTube videos of the drunkest man in the world to get inspiration for their drunken screen debut. This one is a head-scratcher. Politician Robbie Starbuck criticized Megan Fox and the 3 children she shares with ex-husband Brian Austin Green, writing on Twitter that the actress forced them to wear girls' clothes. In response, Fox shared a post on Instagram Saturday calling out Robbie Starbuck for being a clout chaser and slamming him for exploiting my child's gender identity to gain attention in your political campaign. I guess when Megan Fox's boys said they liked their mom's work in Transformers, they then wanted to become Transformers themselves. Messi scored 672 goals for Barcelona, more than anyone has ever scored for a single club. The previous record had been held by Pelé, who scored 643 times for Brazilian side Santos from 1956 to 1974. Like Messi, Pelé moved to the U.S. in his mid-30s. Miami now has alligators, black widow spiders, hurricanes, and Lionel Messi, some of the most deadly things in their fields. Long before Sylvester Stallone hit the big time, there were days of struggle. Stallone had to sell his beloved dog, Butkus, to the first bidder. After Stallone sold the screenplay for Rocky, the first thing he did was go back to the man and bought back his bull mastiff. He had sold Butkus for $40, but since the man knew that Stallone really loved his canine companion, he sold him back for $15,000. I guess when it comes to man's best friend, you can't put a price on love. For those basketball fans who see Michael Jordan as superior to King James, their argument is rooted in his unparalleled success in the postseason, scoring prowess, defensive excellence, competitive nature, and cultural impact. While LeBron is undoubtedly one of the greatest players in NBA history, the combination of Jordan's on-court achievements, intangibles, and cultural significance contribute to his standing as the consensus choice for the greatest basketball player of all time. It's sad to see LeBron come second to the GOAT for this younger generation, but to be fair, he also had the second-best Space Jam movie. Basketball is all about that jump shot, so maybe LeBron should go back and work on his calves, and then we can revisit this conversation. Grant Cardone is a name that has become synonymous with success, motivation, and entrepreneurship. As a renowned author, speaker, and business expert, Cardone has captivated audiences worldwide with his unique perspective and no-nonsense approach to achieving greatness. One of the most surprising facts about Grant Cardone is his vast real estate empire. He owns over $1.5 billion worth of properties across the United States, including residential, commercial, and industrial properties. A man who talks about a 10x life is living a 100x life. Justin Timberlake and Usher battled to sign Justin Bieber after hearing his great vocals. At first, Usher turned down the chance to hear Justin sing, but the rival singer eventually came around. Bieber told MTV, "He actually watched my videos and was like, man, I should have let this kid sing." And he flew me back to Atlanta. I got to sing for him, and then a week later, I had a meeting with Justin Timberlake. They both kind of wanted me. Eventually, Usher won the label bidding war and signed the young artist to Island Def Jam Records. I guess we have Usher to thank for thousands of bad haircuts copying the Bieber flow. In 1995, Donald Trump was traveling along a New Jersey highway when the limo in which he was traveling experienced a flat tire. Spotting the disabled car along the side of the road, a passing motorist stopped to offer his assistance. After helping, Trump asked how he could repay the Good Samaritan. The man asked that Trump send his wife a bouquet of flowers. Trump agreed. True to his word, the bouquet arrived several weeks later along with a note saying, "We've paid off your mortgage." Donald Trump is a man who sticks to his word and delivers a little more. Talk about leadership material. Logan Paul initially shot to fame through his creative content on Vine, a platform known for its short looping videos. He later transitioned this popularity over to YouTube, where his career really took off. Before becoming a social media sensation, Logan was an accomplished high school wrestler in Ohio. His dedication and skill even led him to qualify for the prestigious Ohio State Championship. His wrestling background paid off in 2021 when Logan Paul stepped into the WWE ring for the first time at WrestleMania 37 and is now the United States Champion belt holder. Originally from Budapest, Hungary, Houdini's real name was Eric Weisz. As a teenager, he read the memoirs of French conjurer Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin, often called the father of modern magic. Young Eric named himself after his hero by adding an I to the name Houdin to create the stage name Houdini. There is debate about where Harry came from. Ironically, years later, Houdini turned on his idol and wrote a mostly inaccurate book called The Unmasking of Robert Houdin, accusing him of being an imposter. Michael Phelps is an iconic figure in the world of swimming. With a total of 23 Olympic gold medals and 39 world records, he has solidified his place as one of the greatest athletes of all time. As a unique and exhilarating television event, Phelps competed against a great white shark in a 100-meter race, showcasing his fearless and adventurous spirit. If I were stranded on an island and could bring 3 items, I'd bring Michael Phelps, a saddle, and a stick with a gold medal on the end. We would be back home, safe in record time. J.K. Rowling had just gotten a divorce, was on government aid, and could barely afford to feed her baby in 1994, just 3 years before the first Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, was published. When she was shopping it out, she was so poor she couldn't afford a computer or even the cost of photocopying the 90,000-word novel, so she manually typed out each version to send to publishers. It was rejected dozens of times until finally Bloomsbury, a small London publisher, gave it a second chance after the CEO's 8-year-old daughter fell in love with it. This Kanye fact might just blow your mind. After falling asleep at the wheel in 2002, Kanye was involved in a near-fatal car crash which left him with a shattered jaw. Bedridden in hospital, with the notorious rapper going out of his mind, he had an electronic drum machine delivered to the hospital so he could work on his music. He even recorded a song with his jaw still wired shut. The song Through the Wire in particular details Ye's experience after the accident. It looks like God was the first one to say to Kanye, "I'ma let you finish." Steve-O explains how he ended up doing cocaine with Mike Tyson in a Hollywood Hills bathroom. "I've done effing cocaine with Mike Tyson, dude," he told GQ in 2016. "We spent 3 hours locked in a bathroom together. There was this house party in the Hollywood Hills, and I remember I was distinctly not invited, but I showed up and rang the doorbell. Mike Tyson opened up the door. I said, 'Hey, is it cool if I come in?' And he said, 'You got any coke?' And I told him, 'Yeah, dude, I got a bunch.' And I did. I had like a whole 8-ball in one pocket, half an 8-ball in the other pocket. And the next time I spent real time with Mike Tyson, one-on-one conversing, was when we were locked up in the psychiatric ward together. I think the moral of the story is don't show up at Mike Tyson's house without drugs." Ever wondered which celebrity holds a surprising world record? Well, get ready to be amazed, because did you know that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson holds the record for the most selfies taken in 3 minutes? Yes, you heard that right. The Rock snapped a whopping 105 selfies in just 180 seconds. Talk about a selfie game strong as his biceps. So next time you're trying to up your selfie game, take a cue from the people's champ himself. Alex Ovechkin says, "It's business time." It was revealed earlier this year that Washington Capitals superstar Alexander Ovechkin feels he plays his best hockey when he can score in the afternoon before a match. And yes, I did mean that kind of score. Ovi also said he plays really well when he can do the horizontal tango before and after games. I feel like we just figured out why Ovi plays so well game in and game out. Look out, Wilt Chamberlain. This one is wild. An elderly man set up a stall in Central Park and began selling Banksy prints for $60 a pop. Most people ignored the stall as the man sat around drinking coffee and eating sandwiches. They probably assumed that, as Banksy was touring the city, the prints were overpriced cash-ins for gullible tourists. However, the thousands of people who passed the elderly man selling prints that day were blissfully unaware that each painting was a completely original, authentic Banksy, worth $30,000. At the end of the day, the old man had made less than $500. Unluckily for us, Banksy has said that there won't be any more stalls selling cut-price originals, so the next time you see an old man selling paintings, they probably won't be priceless pieces of art. When O'Leary was a boy, his Swiss stepfather introduced him to the wonders of mechanical watches by taking him to Geneva, watch museums, exhibitions, and dealers. O'Leary fell in love with watches ever since then. Kevin O'Leary's collection now consists of about 32 watches. Every one of his watches is fitted with his signature red strap, some of them custom-made. O'Leary has even said he wears 4 different watches in a day. With all those watches, you would think his nickname should be changed from Mr. Wonderful to Father Time. During his campaign, Poilievre promised to make Canada the freest country on earth by limiting the influence of government in the lives of Canadians. Poilievre's position is that the government shouldn't get involved in the lives of Canadians more than is necessary, and said he would make it easier for Canadians to open businesses without heavy government tax and red tape. He said he would ban all future vaccine mandates related to work and travel, which paralleled some of the goals of the trucker protests from earlier this year. He also said he would reverse the Liberal government's attempts to regulate major internet platforms, which he says is akin to censorship. What it sounds like is Pierre Poilievre is trying to make Canada great again. What a wild month of stories from the pros. Make sure you tune in each day to catch new stories first. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.